Hello! I just listened to the new Kanye West album, Jesus is King. Now, I think I need to start this by prefacing I don't really know the old Kanye. Growing up, I wasn't even allowed to listen to the Black Eyed Peas, which in retrospect was actually a blessing. But what I'm trying to say is I wasn't able to listen to a lot of the music that Kanye was making simply because it was explicit. Which, funny enough, in this new album, he doesn't swear, so maybe I would have been able to listen to this album. My introduction to Kanye's music, besides occasionally hearing it at a middle school dance, was actually last year when he released his album Ye and Kids See Ghost. These are the albums that introduced me to Kanye, and instead of just hearing him on Twitter or something, I actually listened to his music, and what I heard was amazing production. And being exposed to his work with these two albums that are some of his best work as of recently, it set a high bar. Regardless of how he presents himself in the public image, or the fact that he was making a gospel album, something that I don't really listen to that often, I was optimistic about this project. So, going through the track list, we start out with Every Hour, which is from his Sunday church choir. I thought it was a good introduction to the album. While he's incorporated a lot of gospel influence into some of his other works and songs, this song clearly shows, okay, we're hunkering down, the subject matter is going to be about religion a lot, and this is going to be a gospel album. This leads to Sella, which is an epic building song. The hallelujahs that build on each other are more beautiful sung parts by the choir. One thing I have to mention is that something that kind of turns me off from a lot of Kanye's songs are his performances as well as his lyrics. Sometimes this hinders his songs greatly, but often his production, like in Sella, is what saves the songs for me and still makes them a really enjoyable experience. This leads to Follow God, which is a simple beat. The song isn't very complex, but the sampling and the drum pattern, it's just super compelling. I also think his performance is done really well. Following this song is the beautiful and almost daunting guitar of Closed on Sunday. You have this beautiful plucking guitar with a sad melody, along with an intense and pretty scary bass. Can a bass be scary? Along with a spooky ooky bass. And on this song, he does the Kanye thing where he has this amazing beat, but then his lyrics are just absolute shit. And honestly, the beat is good enough, and I think his performance is pretty good where, yeah, you can sing along Closed on Sunday, You're My Chick-fil-A, but you feel fucking stupid doing it, okay? A lot of the times he'll sabotage his own songs, like, you know, the Swoop-Diddy-Doop song or whatever. I know that had something to do with the Drake beat, but I think lyrically sometimes on purpose he puts things in there that he thinks people are gonna, you know, get wrapped up in, tweet about, talk about. So Closed on Sunday is cheesy as fuck, but it's an absolute banger. The next track is On God, which to me is an absolute plummet from where he started out in this album. You have this terrible electronic beat that I could see in some sort of indie video game that doesn't have any complexity to it, doesn't really switch up at all. The tempo in which he delivers the song, the rhyme scheme is super boring, repetitive. The entire track is just this repetitive electronic beat, terrible lyrics, terrible vocals, and it's just like, oh shit, what is going on here? This leads to Everything We Need, which is bad for a different reason. It just seems like a weird pop rap song that is pretty boring, has these really annoying woo, woo, woo. This is not only bad lyrically, but we're talking about bad production. These past two songs have had really boring and almost annoying production. Water doesn't get any better. It has kind of a more unique bass line, I guess. There's some other different ideas. Aunt Clemens doesn't work on this track or the previous track either. The choruses aren't compelling to me. The lyrics don't really mean much. There's a water metaphor going throughout this entire thing and like cleanliness and whatnot, but it just completely falls flat. These songs are just boring and there's nothing to grab onto when you don't have compelling lyrics and you don't have good production. The next track, God Is, it sounds nice. Production is fine, but it's not really, you know, that interesting to me. It seems pretty on par with a lot of gospel songs. On top of this, the lyrics seem a bit preachy to me. Follow Jesus, follow God, let's go, let's do this, okay. And to me, it just gives me those church vibes, which I don't really enjoy. But for someone that doesn't mind those lyrics or whatever, maybe they could get down with the song. Again, it's not necessarily a bad song, it's just not for me. This leads to the track Hands On, which is probably one of my favorite tracks on the album. It's dark, it's murky, there's a distorted hands-on. It's the sort of production where I'm like, who would come up with this, and how would they make it work? And on top of that, he incorporates like a barge horn noise, and it's just like, oh my god, that is brilliant. Pretty great performance that actually adds to the song. But again, lyrically, this song has its issues. I think the most annoying thing about Kanye, especially in this album, is it always has to be him against the world. He always has to create, or at least latch on to enemies in order to, I don't know, make an album, I guess. In this song, it's him versus the Christians, which he predicts are going to just hate him because, you know, he's Kanye. By the end of the song, he's kind of yelling out, "Somebody pray for me." Oh man, this is a desperate plea for people to just like, please, let me try this. Let me try to find help to be happy in I guess, religion in this case. But then you think about it, or you listen to some of the interviews where he has complete control over what he says. He's able to connect a bunch of ideas, go all over the place, completely change the question to what he wants to talk about. He'll say something that's actually really prophetic, and then right after that, he'll say something that contradicted something he said 2 minutes ago. You can see these throughout the album where he's making good points and where he's also contradicting himself. And so you can see the song as being heartfelt, but at the same time, it's really just a tantrum. And listening to the lyrics, it can get pretty annoying. People don't like him because of how he presents himself, and honestly, he should just not focus so much on the hate. But I feel like he can't not focus on the hate. It's something that he is kind of obsessed over. The next track, Use This Gospel, is great. I know I haven't really listened to the old Kanye, but this to me seems like a classic Kanye song. It's got that door ajar sound effect, bing, 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 bing. And personally, I wish it was mixed down a little bit because it can kind of get irritating and stuck in your head, but it's what keeps the tempo of the song. And when he takes it away within the track, it makes those points even more powerful and special. His simple vocal melody that gets stacked and amplified just speaks Kanye and makes for a really epic song. The performances are great. Pusha T does a great job as well. And overall, I think the vocals add to the song, and the lyrics aren't really troublesome at all. On top of that, you put a Kenny G sax solo, and after the solo, you bring the song back in, this time with drums backing that door ajar sound effect, and it just makes for like an epic experience. You want to replay the song again and again. It's kind of everything I would have wanted from this album. Maybe it's not the most risky song, but at least it's a really compelling song. Finally, we get to Jesus is Lord, which is like a 40-second snippet that to me, like, maybe it would be good, but the lyrics are just so boring, performance is bad. By the time you get through these 27 minutes or so, it's been an emotional roller coaster, and I just want to get off the ride. I'm not super worried about future projects. The fact that he probably trashed a project and then went in this direction is a bit troublesome, but I think he's addicted to the chaos. He's going to continue to find chaos. You know, you kind of wish the guy could find some peace. Because he makes amazing music, and I'm going to definitely check out more of the music that he ends up producing, and not so much the stuff that he directly releases, maybe. I'm in the mindset where everyone in some shape or form can make their own kind of individual religion. They can adopt a religion and then apply the things that work for them. But personally, I'm not interested in Kanye's religion. And so I just hope that doesn't hinder his future projects, his future production, and hopefully we can get through this kind of minor speed bump and maybe get back to the level of his last year's 2 albums. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. Definitely give some of the songs a listen. And if you have listened to the album, let me know what you think. I've been listening to a lot of music lately, so I might make more of these. Look out for them. Thanks for watching.